Today we are continuing on with our Reno series, and we've almost finished this neighborhood here. We have a large family starter home for 3 to 5 Sims, a small family starter home for 1 to 3 Sims, a single Sim house that's built for Sims who like making things and gardening, and we have another starter home here in a trailer park which is very small. So for this lot I was really unsure like what on earth can we actually do. I'm going to actually use for rent in order to turn this into a rental residential, and I'm going to be putting 2 houses in one. And the reason why is there are only 3 Sims in this neighborhood, which is the original BFF household, Travis Scott, Summer Holiday, and Liberty Lee from the BFF household, I think they're called. So there's only 3 Sims in this neighborhood by default, which is a bit unrealistic. So if we add 2 houses here and we put pre-made Sims in, that means that you're going to have more neighbors to interact with, which I think is really important. So that's what we're going to do. So this is a lot split in half, which I think is going to be realistic to build a couple of nice houses here, although they will certainly have to be very small ones. So this is a very basic shell of the first house. I'm trying to keep it very small, so we got enough room for like 1 kitchen, 1 lounge, and a small bathroom downstairs, and then upstairs we got a room for 2 bedrooms and a bathroom, and well, I guess maybe a 3rd tiny bedroom. And then I'll add another section of wall here so we can put some closets in there at least. Luckily, because these are technically not starters, I don't actually have to really worry about the budget that I'm using for this house, because this is for NPC townies to live in, so it's not really any of our concern how much their build costs. We could always add a conservatory in. This is so British of me, but I definitely think it makes Sims build so much better. I don't know if you guys like if it's like that common in other countries. It's a very common, I guess, middle class British thing to have a conservatory, so that gives it a little bit more flavor. And then we may as well just get the other side over and done with. I like to make it similar but maybe different. The shower looks a bit weird. I think this is going to be a case of trust the process. Okay, I've been working off camera to try and make this one work for ages. It's not happening. We've got to delete and start again. Sometimes that's just what you've got to do. Maybe I am just overthinking it a little bit too much. Maybe we've just got to try and keep it really simple here. Okay, this is version 2.0. I think this one is going to be a lot better to work with. Okay, this one feels definitely a lot better in terms of the layout of it. So it looks kind of boring from the front. We could create a roof sectional here to give it a bit more depth. So these are the 2 showers that have been done minus the doors and the windows. I've made one of them green, the other one orange, so they're kind of contrasty, but they also look kind of similar. This video is probably the biggest one out of all of them for this neighborhood, because we're literally building 2, I guess, quite big homes in one, much bigger than the other homes, and they're both going to be in the exact same video. The layouts are a little bit different, so we're going to have some fun making them quite unique, but they're 2 smallish family homes, so this will hopefully give you, because this is what I'm thinking, the Sims 4 base game does not have any kids, toddlers, infants in it. With 2 family homes, we can get a couple of parents in each. We can also get a couple of kids in each, meaning that the actual world is populated with more Sims of a variety of ages. That's my theory anyway, just to make it a lot more fun and alive. And again, I will try and keep most things base game, so hopefully anybody can download it. Also, just for fun, I'm doing on the greenhouse like brown beige windows, and then on the beige house we're doing green windows just to switch it up a little bit. I'm also deliberately not putting windows on these 2 sides because this is where the houses face each other. I feel like it would be a little bit weird to have windows here because they could literally spy directly on each other. Unless you wanted to add some kind of story or lore to it. Maybe 2 teens live in this room, and they're in love, and you could put a window in between them. I don't know. You know, like that Paris Hilton music video? I don't know. But for now, we'll leave it blank. So the houses have been officially windowed and doored, which is always the hardest bit. So I'm very happy with that. I feel like this might be a fun build to build in yourself. So I'm just going to quickly upload it on the gallery as a shell, just randomly. Oh my gosh, that screenshot is so ugly. Just in case you want to give this one a go in terms of furnishing the inside, but obviously I'll put it on the gallery when it's all completed as well. I am going to try and keep both houses quite different, but I think I'm going to make the conservatories look exactly the same. The law is they were done by the same developer. And now I've painstakingly done all of the wallpaper and flooring, which genuinely took so much time. You wouldn't think something so little would take so long, but it does. So normally when I do these, I try and do like one build at a time to focus, but we obviously don't want to spend literally all day. So I'm actually going to do both builds at the exact same time here, starting off with the kitchen for both of them. I forgot how kind of gross it is building base game houses because I haven't done one in a very long time, but it's fine. We do what we've got to do. I didn't actually leave much room for a dining room in either of these houses really, although I guess we could use the conservatories as dining rooms. And guys, because we don't have to worry about starter budgets, I can use as many cabinets as I want to in this house, which is absolutely insane. This is probably the most excited I've ever been for cabinets. Normally in starter homes, you literally just cannot use any cabinets because they cost way too much money, but not today. We are going hard on the cabinets. Yes, we are. I think we start off again like we normally do with these kinds of builds with just the essentials, and then we'll add more details later. I kind of do like the idea of keeping these kitchens like the same but different, because in real life, these two houses would have been, I'm saying real life, this is literally The Sims, but in real life, these houses probably would have been done by the exact same land developer, which is why they would look very similar. So it gives us an excuse to quickly just chuck down a lot of the same stuff, keep the houses really similar, and it's not going to be too much effort then to do two houses in one. That's my theory anyway. So this is quite a narrow kitchen, but we do what we've got to do in order to make it work. I like having a lot of counters these days because there's so many additional appliances and things that they've added in The Sims. It can be quite difficult to keep up with it all. So I like the idea of just adding in tons so that you have a lot of options if you want to add additional things depending on what packs you own. So I'm actually thinking about making the conservatories one tile bigger, because that way we could probably fit a bigger dining table. So I think this whole like decking situation, it's got to change. So now we've done it this way, we can fit a 2x2 or 1x2 sorry table in here, which will be a lot better in my opinion. So that allows us a huge dining table experience, which is really good. I've never had a house with a conservatory in real life. Maybe one day when, hopefully when the housing crisis is resolved, I'll be able to move out and get a house with a conservatory. Okay, both the living rooms in both houses, I would say are quite big, so they'll be easy to do, though they are base games, so don't get too excited. So normally I would never dream about having such a huge coffee table in my Sims homes, but on this rare occasion, I think we may be able to actually fit one in. Assuming this is the greenhouse, we may as well use a bit of green furniture in here. This wasn't supposed to be in every room as a different color challenge, but it would be nice to roll with it. Can the Sims scoot to fit in here? I think they can fine. This room feels a little bit too unnecessarily fancy. I definitely didn't mean it to be that way, although it's not properly fancy, it's base game fancy, which is not quite the same as real fancy. And as I usually do, we just get the bare essential objects in, and then we go in full on decorating after, because I just feel like it's a lot better that way. Second living room, I will add windows onto this side actually, and some others here as well, which will be covered by a closet. They're just kind of fake windows, which is fine. So for this one, I definitely want to do different sofas. They can have a crap sofa living room setup just like I do in real life. I mean, considering this is our beige house, we may as well keep everything in this specific room very beige. This one is definitely a lot less fancy. This is a trashy house where your trashy, embarrassing neighbors live. You know, for this specific house, I might actually have a dining room. Instead of in the conservatory, I'm moving it into the main living room, and then we could actually use this conservatory for something else. I'm thinking maybe we add an art easel in here, for example. We could add a fitness machine, so it's like a little activity space. Yeah, this is definitely a lot better for me because then they feel slightly different from each other. We've also got to add the bathrooms, of course. Now, when I do bathrooms, bathrooms in The Sims 4, I do generally like to copy and paste some in every single bathroom because I feel like it's the least consequential room of the house. The one room that you probably don't care about much. So that's why I feel comfortable just doing a copy paste job on all of them. So this is our sad base game bathroom. I feel like any bathroom in The Sims 4, if it's base game, that means it's going to be very, very sad looking. It's just the rules of the game. But of course, if you own any packs, you can just edit it and change it in any way that you like, and that's fine. So with our sad base game bathrooms done, I think it would be fun now to start on the bedrooms. This particularly tiny bedroom here, I feel like this suits best being a kid's bedroom. I did say I think it would be nice to put an infant into one of these builds because I think it's good to populate the world with them. So we could put a crib here. I'll just put a closet in every single one of the different wardrobes in the house. Also guys, if you have like an extra section in your hallway like I have, I just put a wall there and I'm putting a closet in it like this to make it kind of look like a hallway cupboard, which you'd find in real life. Even though it's technically a bedroom closet, I think it works nicely to fill up spaces in other rooms of the house. So now I have to also remember to do things like put a potty into the main bathroom because we've got kids in this house now. We've also got to fit a high chair into this table. Don't let me forget. So I don't really feel like we need much stuff in this room. Like it's very, very small. So we have to be somewhat realistic in terms of the way that we actually use up the space. I also have to think like we've got to put kids stuff, for example, into the living room because it's a lot more practical than just hiding it in the bedroom, in my opinion, for your Sims. And then with the basics of the infant's bedroom done, I'd like to work on the parents' bedroom next. Is this a trashy house, this side? Yep, our right-hand side house is the trashy house, so we'll be a little bit more meaningful about making it look a little bit weird. This one is actually quite a nice size because I kind of want a vanity table, but obviously we don't have them in the base game. Instead, we can just turn it into a very basic looking office, just like some kind of work from home office space. I feel like that would make some sense. So I feel like we've sectioned the room off well. I find that things generally come off a lot better once you pop some curtains in. You maybe have an experiment with the wall swatches and things and make it look a lot better that way. And of course, we've still got all the decorations to do. Normally in builds, I like to decorate everything last because it's just so much easier for me that way. Now, we've got an infant room, a parent's room. For the next bedroom, I'm thinking that we actually do a double bed here so we can have 2 kids. Because as I said, like, I really just want to add like loads of kids, teens, whatever into all of these builds so that we can populate the worlds better for those who like family gameplay. So where basic decoration is concerned, I feel like we've done this kid's bedroom quite well, actually. I tried to make it feel really over the top, bright and colorful. And we could add a couple of pictures, maybe just to make it feel a bit more appropriate, like it's made for kids, and that would be really, really good. So for this specific house here, in order to finish off the basics, we've just got to do the hallway. For this hallway, I'm actually going to be using the base game vault wall cabinets, and I'm going to place them here to kind of look like little storage compartmental things. I quite like these little, I don't even know what kind of tables these are called, like the long thin tables. I think they work really, really well in hallways just to fill the space out a little bit more. Also, if you size down like a tiny rug and put it underneath them, I feel like it helps to make the space look a little bit more balanced. And then of course we can use things like paintings on the wall to again make the space look a bit nicer. And then here we have a sexy hallway. So this house has an infant or toddler along with 2 kids. Honestly, I kind of want to do another room for a toddler in this because like toddlers, they just don't exist in this game and it doesn't make any sense to me. So again, I might just use this really tiny room here. And this time instead of a crib, like we can have a normal toddler bed in here. And then I think that would be absolutely perfect. This room's a bit bigger, so I think we can have some nicer furniture. Okay, call me controversial. I'm using this literally horrendous wallpaper here. I think it looks really cool. And then we're making that on like one side. So then the other sides we do it plain and it kind of matches. I quite like that actually. So I quite like this for a toddler's room actually. It looks different to what I would normally do for one. And then seeming that we also don't have very many teens in The Sims 4, I'm thinking maybe we can make this one like a teenager's bedroom. Quite a small room. It's really annoying that we don't have any any one-tiled desks in the base games. I feel like that would have made a really big difference here. But there we go. It is what it is. Does anyone like, whenever I make teen sims, I always make them like either emos or a bit punky, like always, or goths. I do it every single time I make a teen bedroom in The Sims 4. Look me in the face and tell me you don't do the same thing, you liar. Yes, you do. Although it's kind of funny that I feel like maybe we're putting too much effort into these two houses here, because in reality, okay, you're not going to be playing in these houses because these are just your neighbors. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's literally just your neighbors' houses. I feel like most people only visit their neighbors in game like once in your life in terms of playing, so maybe it's a little bit overboard, you know? It's too late now, we're already putting the effort in. And then again, as a hallway, I've kept it simple for this one too. And then we've got to do the parents' bedroom for this one. This specific bedroom has 2 closets. That is so dramatic. We're not having 2 closets in here. Okay, I'm gonna open this bit up and then we could put a desk in there. I feel like that's a lot more appropriate. Makes a bit more sense. There we go. We can have a small mirror and we can pretend it's a vanity when it's actually not. And for this one, because of its weirdish shape, I might just add a cute little chair in here just to fill it out a little bit more. Maybe add a pop of color with it as well. So now we've got the task of having to decorate every single room of this house, and obviously we have to use only base game stuff, which may be a little bit tough. Usually, again, with decorations, I just do, instead of doing one room at a time, I go through every single decoration at a time. So if we just look through all of the plants, and then I just hop between every single room of every single house, looking at different things and just seeing where in each house that I can put them. That way I just find it so much less overwhelming, and then we can get a lot more done and we can do it all a lot quicker. Definitely want a lot of different plants inside of the conservatories, just because they would make a lot more sense in there. Although maybe not this one, not in the trashy house. This conservatory is purely function over fashion. And it's like, now we've done all the plants, we can then look at doing different kinds of paintings and pictures in all the other rooms of the houses. Genuinely can't recommend enough, guys. Clutter, instead of doing like one room at a time, clutter through each category at a time and hop between different rooms. It's so much easier that way. I promise it'll be done a lot quicker. You guys know I like to use a twerking pig in, you know, at least one room of every single house I do in The Sims 4, so that's what we've done here. So I've added some clutter into every single room of the house. I don't want to overdo it, otherwise if you do overdo it then it's gonna lag a lot. So I've just added like a minimal amount of stuff, just enough to make them all look a little bit better than they did before, but at the same time it's not like too overdone, so I feel happy with it. In terms of the outside, I think one of the houses here, I want to add the outdoor decking, but I would also like to pop a barbecue out here too for the Sims to enjoy as they're living here. Assuming they're the fancier house, maybe they can afford a barbecue, I don't know. We're popping a couple of planters as well here that they could use, which would be good. For the more trashy house, maybe we should just add a little bit less in here, make it feel a little bit more tacky. Obviously we have to decorate the front gardens as well with some different kind of plants. Maybe we can make the cheaper one a little bit more unkept. This build is already like very asset heavy, so to avoid it being too laggy, I won't add too many plants. Although having a look, I probably did add quite a lot into here. Oopsie daisy. I'm sorry if you're playing on a Mac, this probably won't run very well for you. So firstly, I'm going to pop this onto the gallery as a normal residential lot, and then I'm going to do one as a residential rental with for rent. The reason why I'm doing them separately is because if you upload residential rentals on the gallery, you can't actually download it into your game unless you own for rent. Like, you can't just download it as a regular residential lot, which I personally just find a little bit cash grabby that they're limiting the gallery in such a way. But there we go, that's what EA wants to do with themselves, so that's why I've uploaded 2 versions of it onto the gallery, which I think is important. So this is how it looks as 2 separate lots, which I think looks pretty cool, so I'll upload it onto the gallery that way as well. So that is the whole first neighborhood done, which is really exciting, and now we can look at other places. I think I'm going to move on to Oasis Springs next. next, just because I'm a little bit bored of Willow Creek and we could do some of the builds there next. So you guys let me know which one you want to see next. If you enjoyed this video, you might also enjoy the next one recommended. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next one.